Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to, I guess, a debut motorcycle review, because I haven't done one of these before. Wished I'd done one on my Bonneville, but I didn't, and we used to doing cars, so do bear with. I'm not claiming now to be an expert, and I'm sure that'll be evident based on what you see. Anyway, today I wanted to review my Honda CBR 650R, which I've had now for about 18 months, give or take. I had a Triumph Bonneville T120 before, and I came across the CBR 650R as an option because I wanted something a little more fun, a little bit more capable when you're having fun, and to be quite frank, I had to get the inverted commas sports bike bug itch scratched even. So I tossed up. It was a toss up between a couple of bikes. I looked at the R7, I looked at the Ninja 650, the Aprilia RS 660, and the Honda CBR 650R, and based on almost, I guess, I didn't test drive all the bikes, to be quite frank. I didn't, and this sort of middleweight sports bike class is a strange one because it's new to me. I'm not very au fait with bikes. It's a new thing. I've had my license probably 3 odd years, but I've only covered 4,000 miles ish on the road on bikes. Like I say, my CV on bikes is the Honda here, the Bonneville, and a CB125. So I'm not an expert, but anyway, I chose the Honda based on almost looks and sound alone, because the inline 4 is absolutely awesome sounding, even with the stock exhaust, which is what I'm rolling today. But anyway, let's crack on with the video and talk about how I rate the CBR 650R. So first off, my apologies for a rather long intro, but yeah, here we are on the Honda CBR 650R, and my thoughts of it are, in summary, I really do like the bike. I want to answer a few questions today, as in, the first one being, is it a beginner bike or an amateur bike? And what are my overall thoughts on the bike? How does it compare to what I've had before or tried before? So as I said, the backstory was the Bonneville. It was a lovely little cruiser, comfortable bike, talky enough, but it did not scratch the itch of a sports bike, something I could have a bit more fun on the twisties, but at the same time I wanted to be able to use a bike to tick a multitude of boxes. Essentially, I wanted something that was alright on a run, something I didn't have to scream the nuts off to get the most out of, and something that, like I say, scratched the sports bike itch. And the Honda does fit that bill really, really well. Initially, I'll say, we'll talk about what it's like to ride. So I find the bike's very, very pleasant to ride. In terms of comfort, I think it's absolutely fine. I'm 6'1" with these motorbike boots on, evenly proportioned in terms of torso and leg length, really, so I don't find the seating position ergonomically a problem. It's a fairly sporty riding position, but you're not as leant over as on something like the R7 or a super sport bike, definitely not, but it's not as laid back as for instance the Ninja 650, which is more of a street bike, sort of naked bike setup, really. You're much more upright on that. I don't find my wrists or anything ache after or on long journeys. What I do find is a problem for me is the seat. My ass hurts after about 45 minutes. I'm begging to get off because my bum hurts. Now I know there's ways to get around that, as in you shift about on the seat a little bit more and stuff like that, but to be honest with you, if I'm on a bit of a run or something, I don't want to be having to thinking about moving my ass all the time on the seat. And even when I'm trying to sort of build that into my ride and think about that, I do find I can't really last more than an hour on the bike without wanting to get off and rest for a bit. So I don't see this bike fitting me very well. If I wanted to ever, I wouldn't tour on it, let's put it that way. Definitely not. But if you're out for a blast of 45 minutes to an hour, definitely, and even if you're sort of, 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, with a quick break in between, it's not too much of a chore, to be quite honest. And the trade-off for that is it sporty and engaging? Well, yeah, it definitely is. I think the inline 4 is an absolutely awesome lump. To say straight away, the sound it makes is absolutely incredible, and it blows the competition in the 650 range out the water. I think you compare it to the noise that a Ninja 650 or something like that makes, and it's night and day. This thing is awesomely good sounding, and you definitely do feel like you can lean it plenty. It is pretty engaging. The brakes work really well. The handling's really quite good. It's a massive step up from what I was on before, definitely. So I do find it a lot of fun. And like I say, it isn't back braking, it isn't wrist braking, it's just my ass. So you can fix that, I suppose, with a gel insert or something like that. I haven't tried that yet, to be honest, because I don't go out for more than 45 minutes to an hour, and that amount of time is plenty of time for me to get down to sort of the coast and stuff like that. So yeah, it doesn't ruin my experience, but it's just something that I've noted. What's it like to use daily then? So I guess I better just clarify that I do not daily my motorbike. It is definitely I am a fair weather rider, and that is what I use it for. Just a nice blast every now and on the weekends, or going on a little group ride up the Caffeine Machine or something like that. Like I say, no more than sort of like 45 minutes to an hour each way to my destination. So as a daily, I can't really answer that as well as some of the other videos and reviewers out there might be able to, but I can say that, you know, I do drive it through town and stuff sometimes to get from A to B and stuff, and it's really easy to ride at low speeds. The bike is. It's not got a horrible clutch. It's not jerky in even first gear. The throttle's really friendly. It doesn't sort of lurch and lump about, which actually the Bonneville did really badly. You wouldn't think it from a cruiser mobile like that, but it was really bad. This thing doesn't do that. So I can only suggest it's really quite easy and pleasant to use as a daily bike. Definitely. Yeah, do you know what? I haven't got a lot of negatives to note on this bike. Like I said, the gear change is crisp, the clutch is lovely, the engine sounds awesome, it's plenty powerful enough. The drawbacks for me, right, and I'll be honest, and I think that's probably it's something to do with the 4-cylinder, maybe the fact that I chose a, you know, inverted commas, screamer as sorts. Is that I find, you know, I'm at 4,000 revs now, 6th gear, and I'm winding it on, and it's not really picking up, it's not picking up enough to, I definitely have to kick a couple of gears to overtake, even in 4th, 50 miles an hour, it wouldn't be enough for me to overtake. You know, I never rush my overtakes anyway, but say like a sensible stretch this long, if a car wasn't coming, if I wasn't in sort of 2nd or 3rd gear, I wouldn't be able to do it. So it's a bit of an inconvenience sometimes, but I don't hair the bike out like a lunatic anyway. But sometimes, you know, you want to get past someone that's doing 40 into 60 in it, you just think, God, you know, you've got to prep for it, kick a couple of gears down. It's a bit annoying. But again, doesn't ruin my experience. The other thing I would note is that I frequently miss 2nd and 3rd gear, so when I'm up, you know, working it through to the red line and go to shift quick, I get like a false neutral, or whatever you call it. I don't know if that's me, but I've not experienced that on bikes before. It's just this one. I don't know if that's a thing with them or not. You know, maybe the answer to that is learn how to ride it better or different, or you know, get a factory quick shifter. But that's something I've noticed. Otherwise, in terms of like rideability and stuff, the bike's lovely. It's really easy to ride. Sounds good, goes well, it feels really nice. It's a Honda. You can feel it's a Honda. It feels like it's built really well. I do really enjoy the bike. In terms of economy, I mean, crikey, who cares about economy on a motorbike? I guess unless you're daily in it, which I'm not. I don't care. It's fine. I return a very healthy MPG. I think is somewhere in the late 40s, 50s. I think, I don't even know. But the fuel tank size it's okay. I get about 180 miles to a fuel tank. I think that's probably okay in the bike world, isn't it? Like a sports bike sort of thing. But I would love a bigger tank. I don't think it doesn't do many less miles to a tank than my Bonneville. But I hate stopping for fuel. It's one of my pet peeves. I just absolutely hate it, but I don't think the tank's an unfair size. Manoeuvrability, this bike's absolutely fine, even at slower speeds. I do believe, from a statistical point of view, that this is one of the, if not the heaviest bike in the 650 class. I can't remember for gospel, so don't take what I'm saying as gospel, but I think it's one of the more heavier bikes. It's not even really a bit of a bark to move about, you know, off the bike. It's not an overly heavy bike. You definitely, when you're moving it about, you know, off the bike, you know, it's got some weight to it, but manoeuvring the thing at slow speeds and stuff like that, I just don't. It's never something I've thought of as a problem, to be quite honest. componentry, what do I think? Again, I'm not an expert, so I am absolutely not trying to preach that I am, but brakes, good. Front and rear brakes seem good to me. Clutch seems good. Suspension seems fine. I actually think it rides better than the Bonneville on the front. I did feel after a while that I just thought the suspension was sincerely lacking. It feels really good on this bike, really, really good, and the setup of it doesn't tramline horribly or anything like that. It's good, really, really, really easy to ride and really pleasant to ride. Generally, no complaints from sort of general riding. Definitely not. So let's talk about visibility and things quickly then. So, I mean, mirrors, I think they're shite on all of these bikes anyways, but as far as bikes concerned, I don't think these are that bad actually. If I look in both my mirrors, I can definitely see a portion of my right and left hand side of my body. That's probably because I'm packing a few more pounds than I'd like to admit, but I do see my elbows as well. So, you know, they're fine though. I think the picture's fine. I still can see the traffic with just a little lean of the head. They're fine. Definitely not the worst mirrors I've experienced. The screen, I think, in comparison to some of the other bikes out there, it's a fairly basic display, but I like that. You do get a little bit of glare off this screen sometimes if the sun's behind you, but it's, you know, looking down in normal circumstances, it's really easy to read. It's easy to see your fuel here and what gear you're in and how fast you're going, and that's in the temperature of the bike. That's the only things I need to know about every now and then, really. So the display is, I think it's behind on some of the stuff like the RS660 and stuff, but it's not offensive. Equipment levels then, so I do think this bike is, I think it's definitely lacking against some of the stuff out there, like the RS660 and stuff like that. But you know, do you need all of it? Is the question really on a 650? Jesus, you know, it's not a Tourer, it's not a £15,000 litre bike. It's it's an entry level sports bike, isn't it? And you know, equipment levels. I've got ABS, traction control. I mean, fine in there. It's absolutely fine. I got all my LED lights. It's fine. It's not got wheelie control and stuff like that. But Jesus, I don't think you need it all on this sort of stuff. And as a result, the next thing I want to talk about is the it does sound good. The value for money for the Honda. Now, I bought this bike brand new. I spec the extra windscreen, the smoked windscreen, and that's about it, I think. And the tail tidy. I got them to put a tail tidy on. Big shout out to actually Fowler's in Bristol. Not my local Honda dealer, but I've heard good things. I didn't have great experiences in my local. Went to Fowler's, and Max and the guys there looked after me really well. Highly recommend Fowler's, and their cafe's awesome. Massive selection of bikes. Just good group of guys and girls there. But yes, the deal on the bike. So it was on a bit of a deal, I think, with a low APR and stuff like that. But I think it was £8,500 brand new, which I think for a Honda 650 sports bike, I think that's really good value. When you compare it to things like the Aprilia RS660, they definitely demand more money. I'm sure they hold their money better, definitely, and you get a few more things. But I think in terms of value for money, the Honda's a really, really good bet. I think I put £1,000 deposit down on this bike, PCP'd it over 3 years, 3,000 miles a year, and it's £134 a month, I think, £136 a month. Oh, it's very kind of you. Alright, let's go. Yeah, she does sound good, this thing. That's half the problem with it. You chase that noise, you can hear the engine changes note. So when you get up past sort of 10, I think it is, it really changes. God, it does sound good, but it does make you chase it. So I guess that begs the next question: is it a good beginner bike? Well, Yeah, I think it definitely could be, couldn't it? Based on all the information, it's good value for money. It's not stupidly expensive, the bike to own. I say you can have it for 130, £140 a month. It's not death-defyingly fast, definitely not. It's not as aggressive as like a 600 Super Sports, but it's definitely more aggressive than like a naked or a street bike, definitely. But it's not, if you pin it too hard, you're going to fly off the back, sort of thing. You have got to work the bike to get it to move, so it's manageable. It's definitely drivable round its slower speeds. It's comfy. It doesn't feel overly heavy or anything like that. I think it could work for a beginner bike. It's definitely the 650s are definitely amateur, sports bike territory, aren't they? I guess. I will say though, the Bonneville T120 was my first big bike, shall we call it, and the transition from that to this felt like a missile in comparison to that. It just felt like a far more dangerous, capable and fast machine. So I think it's all about, managing your own skill level and expectations. But, all bikes are dangerous, aren't they, in the wrong hands at the end of the day. But this isn't if you don't concentrate on how much throttle you're using, within a split second, like I said, it spits you off the back and stuff. So I think it could be a beginner bike. I think it could be a beginner bike. I'd probably suggest something a little bit softer, maybe, just because I'd worry that the inline four makes you chase it and stuff like that. But I guess that's all about managing your hunger for the red line and your excitement levels. But I think it probably could be a beginner bike. Insurance is something you'd have to check. Insurance for me now, I'm 37, probably 2 years no claims on a bike, and it's £210 for the year, so not extortion. And the last thing I think I'll talk about is servicing and stuff. So I service this at Fowler's, at the Honda garage, and it costs me about £200 a time, depending on what service you have. I think £200-300 a service. So that's what I'd expect. It's not over the top, and tyres are pretty standard. I think I haven't had to replace them on this yet. Just you can spend way more money on motorbike tyres than you'd have to spend putting them on this. That's for damn sure. And I'd imagine brakes and things like that are pretty sensible. I don't think that they're not a bastard to run, are they? Excuse my French. And they're definitely not as high maintenance as some of the Italian stuff, or a Ducati or something like that. You've got that Honda reliability built in there, and I do like my Hondas. You can tell this bike is good. So I think in summary then, I'll say I really do enjoy this bike. I certainly do. I love it. If I went back in time, would I make the transition again? I think I would. I think I'd have tried a couple more of the others, but I think I'd probably end up with the Honda, just in terms of value for money, reliability and looks, to be honest, and sound. God, that noise, it is just, I love it. So I definitely don't regret my decision, but for me, I am sort of over it now, the whole sports bike thing. I don't have the skill set or the confidence to throw the thing about, and I don't, to be quite honest with you. I've lost my mojo in that sense. I definitely enjoy a motorbike, and I love this bike, but I think when the time comes, which I will make the case probably spring next year, I will dial it back a little bit, not in terms of performance and stuff like that, but I just think how you get there in the riding position, I probably will soften myself up a little bit, go to more of a street stance, and just ask for a bike with a little bit more mid-range torque, because like I said, that is a drawback for me. I'm a lazy rider now. I think I do. Don't get me wrong. I like a bike that makes a noise and looks the part, and I can have a bit of fun on. But I do think I'd probably dial it back just a little bit. But I can't say anything too negative about the Honda. Definitely not. I thoroughly enjoy this bike. I've enjoyed all the miles I've put on it so far. I definitely do. And I think that's where I'll leave the video. And I'll say, look, thanks so much for watching. I hope I haven't rambled on too much or embarrassed myself in my first bike video. But we'll leave it there. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like. Massively helps the channel out. Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content. And thanks so much for tuning in once again. I'll say I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.